Hello, and thank you for joining our Teaching for the 21st Century webinar brought to you by the David Horowitz Freedom Center and the Glazov Gang. I am your host, Annie Cyrus. Please use the Q&A box on your screen if you have any questions for our guests this evening. And it is time to introduce our very special guest who I consider a very dear friend. And also, I always say I do owe the majority of my public speaking career to him. Will Johnson, the founder of Unite America First. Well, hello, Will.
Hello, nice to see you, Annie.
It is a pleasure to see you anywhere at any time. I'm very excited to have you tonight. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I'm all ears, Will. Floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to talk about the state of America and where I believe that we're headed. You know, one thing is that we're seeing the chaos, and you hear the liberal media. They try to tell the liberal media that none of this is really happening. That's what's coming out of the liberal media. They try to tell all of us that none of this is happening, or when we do see the chaos and the violence in the streets, guess who they're blaming? One good guess. One person in the White House, right? President Trump. They're blaming President Trump for everything that we're seeing happening throughout America right now. To give a prime example, in Portland has been on fire for like 50 something days now. They've been rioting and just chaos, total destruction of the city. And President Trump said, okay, you know what? This has just gone on a little too far, a little too long. And because you have the governor and the mayor not doing anything to protect American citizens there, President Trump decided to send the feds in. Guess what happened? The liberal media, along with the Democrats, all of them are now blaming President Trump. And, you know, they're saying that they're out there rioting for what? BLM. That's what they're saying they're rioting for. They're saying they're rioting. Well, they're not even saying they're rioting. They're saying they're protesting. I'm so used to saying they're rioting because that's exactly what they're doing. They turn around and try to say that they're not rioting. They're only protesting for like George Floyd and for all the other people that were attacked, what they say, by police officers, which is not true. If you look at the statistics, there's only around roughly 11.7 or 12.7 Black people, the population of Black people in the United States, right around 13%. And of those, there's 6% of that 13% is 6% of Black people are males. And then on top of that, they commit 53% of the most violent crimes in America. So do the math on that. You have Black people that don't even equal up to 25% of the population, but yet they do 53% of the most violent crimes in the nation. And you have the left, they don't even want to pay attention to it. They want to ignore it. They want to act like it's not even happening. They want to say that it's President Trump's fault because you have all the rioting in the streets, because of all the police officers that's doing their job. This is the state of America we're headed. That's what, not even where we're headed in. I used to say that we're headed to this, and now we're living in this. You know, I guess maybe 3 months ago, right before the pandemic really kicked in, and I saw what was going on. And I said, you know, they're going to use this to cause civil unrest in the United States of America. And guess what? I hate to say I told you so, but I didn't even want to be right in this. I would have loved to have been wrong. But now we have civil unrest throughout parts of the country, and the liberal left, the Democrats, they're encouraging people to go out and be more violent. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the violence. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, when you have people that are burning down businesses, burning vehicles, attacking police officers, attacking anyone who doesn't go along with this demonic organization called BLM, guess what happens? They start burning stuff up, and then the police officers have to come in. And because you have the governor, like I'm talking about Portland again, and because you have the governor and the mayor not stopping the violence, President Trump had no choice. And I was talking about this months ago, that they're going to force President Trump's hand. So guess what? President Trump had to send in the feds, and here we are. Now it's President Trump's fault because they're trying to burn down the federal building with people in it. With people in the building, they're trying to burn it down. This is absolutely crazy. Now, anyone who's seeing this and you see what's actually happening, and then you see the liberal media try to say, oh, that's not happening. The only reason why they're doing this is because of President Trump. Knowing good and well, that's not the case, and that's not true. But let me get on to BLM, because BLM is playing a big part in the division of this country and how they want to take down America. And it's all by design. And maybe after my little segment here, I can get Annie's opinion on this. But you have there's a lot of information out there with the Muslim Brotherhood out there that is actually funding BLM as well. And all of the money that's going into BLM, the funding, the millions upon millions of dollars. I just saw a report where the NFL is going to donate around between like $200 and $250 million to BLM. And guess where that money is going? To the Democrat Party. That's exactly what it is. And you know why? Because they want to make sure they have all the funds they can to try to defeat President Trump come November. All of everything that I'm talking about, everything that the media is talking about, all roads lead to President Trump. No matter what it is, right now in the United States of America, all roads lead to President Trump, and they want to remove President Trump because President Trump, the positive things that President Trump is doing in this country is for everybody. But BLM is being funded by multiple organizations, and Muslim Brotherhood just happened to be one of them. They even came out and said that the BLM movement is our movement. They said that we need to help the BLM movement in the United States because Black Lives Matter is our matter. I mean, so for them to say that, when you have people, if you want to look at Palestine, you have people in Palestine that are having issues. How come they won't concentrate their efforts on the people in Palestine, which personally I think they should. Leave BLM out of it. BLM is an American thing, right? BLM, but you know what it is? They're using this to divide the country. They're using this to divide the country. Now, since I'm talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, let me bring up about some of the Jewish people in New York. They're supporting this BLM trash too, which is completely crazy. All of these different organizations are supporting BLM, which BLM is doing nothing but dividing the nation. And if you're right and you support BLM, that's completely insane. Have you ever read their About Me page? You're not included. I mean, so why would you do it? That doesn't make any sense. See, me personally, I can't support BLM because when I read the About Me page about BLM, I'm not included. The Black heterosexual male is not included. Men, period, you're not included. So if you think that you're walking around holding a sign talking about Black Lives Matter and you're pushing the movement, trying to help, you're not helping. The only thing you're doing is causing more division in this country. But you know what? I think it's all by design. I think it's all part of the pandemic. Now, do you remember back in November of 2019? I don't know if any of you were paying attention to it at that time, but the pandemic was starting then. Right before Congress went into recess because, they were doing the whole impeachment thing. And Nancy Pelosi and all of them, they want to make sure that they can impeach President Trump before they took their Christmas recess. And that's what they did. And they were going to come back. They're going to, come back together and start up all over again. And then we're going to push it over to the Senate. But because they knew the Democrats, they're you know what? I like to think of the Democrats as strategists, right? They're not very smart at it, but they're pretty good at what they do, because I could get into the Black community, how they've done that. But let me stick with this story here. Right during that time around November, when the Democrats, December of 2019, they knew that they were going to lose this battle trying to impeach President Trump. So do you recall Nancy Pelosi and other members of the Democrat Party took a trip to China? People seem to forget all about that. They took a special trip to China. And even to this day, we don't know what their conversation was about. And it just so happened after that, the pandemic came about because they knew they were going to lose in the Senate when it came to impeaching President Trump and removing him from office. They knew they were going to lose. So if you're watching any television shows or watching any news broadcast, they were, and even especially on social media, when it was really hitting hard in China, in Wuhan, China, that's when I was watching and saw people getting sick. And you know, President Trump was aware of it, and the WHO didn't do their job. But anyways, the whole point is, I believe, and it's just my personal opinion, I believe that the Democrats orchestrated, along with China, to try to take out America using this pandemic, the CCP virus that we have right now, forcing everyone to wear a stupid mask. And people wearing that mask, complying, just openly saying, yes, I'm going to wear the mask. I'm going to wear the mask. We should wear the mask to protect each other. It's all by design. It's part of the pandemic. And it's all gearing us to get in line for this RFID chip and take a vaccine. Now, I know a lot of times you get in trouble if you get in trouble if you talk about the vaccine. You know, you can't talk about vaccines. Can't talk about it. Then if you're anti-vaccine, they really want to remove you. They really want to harm you. Now, it's my body, my choice, right? But see, what they're going to do is they're going to say, and this is all part of the America that we're headed towards. This is the state of America. They're going to use this vaccine to say that if you don't have the vaccine and you don't have proof of vaccination, that you won't be able to go to sports arenas. You won't be able to go to a courthouse. You won't be able to get on an airplane. You won't be able to go to restaurants, and you won't be able to go to work. That's just to name a few. And they're going to use this to control the American people. That's what's coming. Now, God, I hope that I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just talking off the wall here. Maybe I just see the writing on the wall and I'm just picking stuff out. I hope that's the case. I pray that's the case. I hope that to God that I'm wrong with everything I'm saying, but I guarantee majority of the people that's watching this video, you're going to say, you know, you're not wrong. We all see it. That's why so many people are running around right now like, my goodness, what's going on? We are at a crossroad in this nation. And come this November with President Trump, it is going to determine the outcome of our freedom come November 3rd. And right now you have the Democrats trying to do everything they can to scare everyone from going out and voting. They want you to vote by absentee ballot, mail in your ballot. Basically, this is what's going to happen. Because I used to live in California and I saw it firsthand. Basically, what they want you to do, you fill out the ballot. Don't even worry about mailing it. We'll have someone come pick it up for you. And if they find out any information on you, if they know anything about you, your ballot just might not make it. It might sit in the trunk of someone's vehicle, or it might just end up in a warehouse somewhere. And you know, the first time I seen them do that, they did that when Bernie Sanders was running against Hillary Clinton in 2015 primary. It happened then. And a lot of people woke up that morning in California thinking that they were about to go vote in the primary between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And before people even woke up that morning, they had already given it to Hillary Clinton. It come to find out, millions upon millions of ballots sitting on pallets. And they were for Bernie Sanders. And at that point, Bernie Sanders already folded, caved in. This is where America is headed. This is why they're pushing for people to do the mail-in ballot. That's why they're doing this, because they know how they can manipulate the outcome of the election. They didn't understand how the 2016 election took place. They don't understand that because they did everything that they thought was right. They lied to us about the polls. You remember? Some of the polls had Hillary Clinton at 95% chance to win. And President Trump was like 3%. The other percent was undecided. I mean, come on. The same thing is happening right now in 2020. They're out there trying to say that Joe Biden, that can't even remember which room in his house is the restroom, is going to beat President Trump. I mean, my goodness, this is absolutely insane what we're seeing. I mean, it's beyond belief that they actually have someone that can't even remember anything and he's going to be the leader of the free world. Now, President Trump, he's done a phenomenal job. And let me talk about how me being a black person in America, I recognize how wonderful this nation is for me, how wonderful this nation is for everybody that lives here. And I've had many conversations with Annie, many, where she's talked about how she loves it here in America. She has the freedom. She can do what she wants to do. She can be who she wants to be. Who would turn that down? Who would want to change that? Why shouldn't it be our decision on how we want America to be for us, right? Isn't that how our decision? Oh, but I guess because the left, how they're trying to destroy America, they want their America without us in it. They want their America without President Trump in it. They want their America without us having our Second Amendment rights. They want their America without us having our freedom of speech. Our liberty, our civil liberties need to go away, according to the left. They demonstrate it every day, constantly. People, you can lose a job right now, and it's happening. One teacher just came out and said, you know what, I can't be silent any longer. Trump is our president. And yes, I do support President Trump. And that's all he said. He said it on Twitter. And guess what happened to him? They had an emergency school meeting and they fired him simply because he expressed his support for the sitting president of these United States. I mean, this is crazy. So what do we do from here? What do we do? What can we do to combat this? What can we do to fight this? You've got to stop being silent, for one. Being silent let me say it like this. Being silent no longer works because we've been silent too long. With us being silent is the very reason right now we don't have prayers in school. Being silent right now is the very reason why they removed the 10 Commandments from courthouses. Being silent right now is the very reason why now they have satanic, demonic stuff for as school curriculums. Because we've been silent for too long. Now, some of you may not even believe in God. And you know what? That's between you and God when that day comes. But you would have to agree. The idea of God is good. The idea of Satan is bad. So why would you introduce something that is bad to children? It's because where they want to take America. They want to take America in the wrong direction. They want America to no longer be the greatest country in the world. They don't want that. So we have to stop being silent. The second thing we can do, do not let them put the fear in you from going to vote. That's the biggest thing. Everything they're doing right now. To give an example, I was at the rally in Oklahoma. And now after that rally, they're trying to say that, oh my goodness, so many people were sick after that rally, the Tulsa, Oklahoma rally. So many people were sick. I walked around, met with so many people saw me. Hey, Will. I was in the back area where the press was. I just roamed the entire building. I went to the rally before that. I've gone to many rallies. I'm still feeling great. I feel peachy. But according to the left, I'm not supposed to be this way. I'm supposed to be, oh my goodness, we're all going to die. So we cannot allow the left to continue to make us afraid, because that's their biggest thing. And they've done the same thing. The same thing that we're seeing today is the same tactics that took place right after the Civil War, when black people started to vote, when women started to vote. Guess what happened? The Democrat Party, which is the party of the KKK, they sent people out to intimidate all of us that were black and even white people. If you were white, they did the same thing to you if you were voting Republican. But now they're tearing down statues to try to reverse all the history so we don't remember the history. They don't want us to recognize what they did to all of us. So we cannot be afraid when it comes time to vote. That's what they want. And that's how they win. If you want to lose this country, then fine, don't vote. Because you not voting is a vote for Joe Biden. Because right now, this election, it's not President Trump versus Joe Biden, because Joe Biden can't remember anything. Seriously, this election has nothing to do with Joe Biden. They're only putting Joe Biden as a forefront. He's like a figurehead. It's just like we're just gonna put Joe out there, and I'm gonna tell you real quick why. But they're just putting Joe Biden out there. So as a figurehead, this election, November election, is between the American people and the Democrats. That's what this election is about. The American people keeping our freedoms, and the Democrats wanted to destroy everything because they're going to get rid of the Electoral College. They're going to put 15 Supreme Court justices. They're going to put that 15 judges on the Supreme Court, if I can get it out. They're going to put 15 on them up there. And you know what happens after that? Then they can make up whatever rule, whatever law they want for the rest of the history of this world. And we can't say otherwise, because that's how they get their laws passed. And they're pushing for it. They're pushing for it right now. Now, the reason why they're keeping Joe Biden there, because come on. Everyone that's seen Joe, you've got to know. I mean, it's embarrassing. I'm sitting there watching Joe and I feel embarrassed, and I'm like, I have nothing to do with him. The only reason why they're keeping Joe Biden there is so we will pay attention to Joe Biden and not pay attention to the House race and to the Senate race. Think about it. I sat in the chambers when Nancy Pelosi and the other Democrats took a vote to impeach President Trump. So I saw exactly their plan. Right now, with Joe Biden being there, forget everything, Joe. They don't want us to pay attention to the House because they're going to try to keep the House and they're going to try to steal the Senate. And then guess what's going to happen? It's going to be impeachment 2.0. And how are they going to do impeachment 2.0, you ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked. They're going to use the whole pandemic. They're going to try to say that President Trump, the way he handled the whole CCTP virus, because he said the Chinese virus, the Kung flu, saying that he was racist, they're going to say because of the way he handled it, we're going to impeach him. And then on top of that, they're going to use the violence that's taking place across the country because he's sitting in the feds because the local state government is not doing it. They're going to use that against him as well, saying that he was the one trying to be a dictator, so we have to impeach him. All roads lead to President Trump. All of them. So right now, the biggest thing is you've got to stop being silent, and you've got to make sure you're not afraid and go out and speaking. You're using your voice and vote this November. You've got to vote. Do not let them trick you. Do not let them trick you.
Amen. Stop. What is it you call it? Silent majority? Can we please have loud majority for a while?
I know.
I know.
100%. I don't understand why they're quiet. You know, and I guess I kind of do.
To be fair, I know why they're silent. As you just said, they show support for Trump. They lose their jobs. They have families to support. They get beat up on the streets. I'm glad you brought it up because I agree. The 2020 election is absolutely not about Republican versus Democrats or any of that. It's literally what Jamie Glazov said on his book years ago, United in Hate. It is America versus the utopia the Democrats are looking for.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes, 100%. And you know what? You're right. People are afraid of losing their job if they speak up. But you know what? Guess what? You're about to lose more than just your job.
I know.
I mean, seriously, think about that. People are not thinking about the future of America, the future of our freedoms. We're about to lose more than just a job. If the Democrats have it their way, I mean, I hate to say this, but I truly believe that some of us are going to lose our lives because of what the Democrats are planning on doing. Tyranny throughout history shows that. And these Democrats are 100% about communism. And ever since communism has touched the surface of the planet, what has it done? It has destroyed and killed millions upon millions of people. And the Democrats think that we are in the way right now.
Well, here's the thing, though. Well, we have actually talked about it, me and you, on your program. If it was just about communism, it wouldn't be as scary as it is with Democrats, because Democrats are all about communism and Islamization.
Mm,
That's
mm.
where the scary part comes in. Whatever lacks within communism, Islam comes in to fill in the gap. And you're very correct. First of all, on less serious note, you don't technically, as of right now, Will, you can't even consider yourself a black because Biden said if you're not going to vote for him, you ain't black.
No, you're absolutely right. If you're not going to vote for me, then you're not black. I'm like, really? I guess I'm not. Well, at one point, Nancy Pelosi called me a white supremacist. So I'm like thinking, okay, this is crazy. The leader of the House called me a white supremacist. I'm like, should I take that as a badge of honor or should I like be offended? No, I think it was like pretty cool. Nancy Pelosi calling me a white supremacist because I support President Trump. It makes her look that much more stupid.
Yeah, but technically, all Americans should be very, very, very afraid when such comments are being made. Reason is supposedly BLM, Black Lives Matter movement, and everybody who's supporting it, they're all fighting for what? Equality, no racism. But it's okay if Joe Biden tells you you're not black. That's
Yeah,
not.
you're absolutely right, Annie. And if someone white says all lives matter, oh my goodness, you're racist. How dare you say all lives matter? And my question is, when did the word all change its definition? Why are black people not included into the word all? And who's excluding black people? BLM, the left. They're excluding black people from the word all. It doesn't make any sense.
Because it doesn't fit their narrative. Again, back to communism and Islamization, if you look at them both, they're very close, they're very matching. I always say that. I have no education when it comes to communism. The reason I understand very well and I can have a discussion about it is because I was raised a Muslim. They're so close that just being raised a Muslim in an Islamic country will give you all the education you need about communism. Read a little bit further into it and then you see the differences, which is very tiny bit. But on both, when you look, there are the majorities and the minorities, and it's not by number. For example, in Islam, they don't consider you a minority based on your number. No, they consider you a minority based on your gender, being a woman, based on your religion, based on your skin color. That's how you become a minority. Same thing with communism. You go to China, there are actually no existence of equal rights between man and woman. It doesn't exist. You go to China, you really think Black lives matter in China?
No, they don't. No, they don't. They really don't matter in America. Because if Black Lives Matter actually mattered in America, then you would have this whole Black Lives Matter movement going to Planned Parenthood protesting against them. You would have the Black Lives Matter movement going to Chicago protesting about all the killing of Black people that's taking place there. See, Black Lives Matter only matter when a white person or a cop is involved. That's it. Other than that, they don't matter.
Well, yeah. Black lives, here's my understanding. In America, Black lives matter as long as you are a registered Democrat Black person. Other than that, technically and by definition, Democrats don't care for your life whatsoever at all. But, well, as you know, me and you, we can chat all day long and still continue talking. But I want to make sure to get to the questions of our audience because they have taken the time to be here. So let me start by the first question, which is actually interesting. I always have this question too, which is an exciting question. So question says, 2020 seems to be the year that communists are deciding to bring full revolution no matter what. As bad as things are, they are still holding back because they think Trump might lose. But if Trump wins, then what?
If Trump wins, they're going to continue with the tyranny that they're trying to push onto America right now. All of the violence that we're seeing in Portland, Seattle, Chicago, Oakland, LA, New York, they're going to increase it. They're going to increase it more because they feel like And see, they base all of their anger on feelings. They're basing it all on feelings because they feel that they have to do this because they feel they're losing the America that they want. See, they want the America that Obama was taking us, the direction Obama was taking us in. And they just, oh yeah, Hillary Clinton's going to come in, just going to usher in this utopia that they're looking for. And they're going to get rid of Christianity. They're going to get rid of the white man. They're going to get rid of anyone that speaks out against BLM and all of the other demonic groups that they've created. And when they did that, when President Trump wins, because he's going to win. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, even if they put Michelle Obama as the VP choice of Joe Biden, Trump is still going to win. I mean, seriously, he's still going to win. And what's really disgusting, I know this just a little bit off here, is how now John Kasich is going to speak in behalf of at the DNC for Joe Biden. What in the world is going on? So that Joe Biden is not going to win. They know he's not going to win. Trump is going to win in 2020. Hands down.
Oh, I'm going for it. Amen. No other option. No, I will refuse to think otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
I did not run, hide, smuggle myself through borders and go through refugee times to possibly end up in a new home under Islam. That is not happening. Next question says, we could fix a lot of this mess if Trump wins. I'm going to change that to when Trump wins in a landslide. But that seems very hard because the media is all for the left. No surprise. Is your feeling that most people can really see what is going on anyway? And will they turn out to vote for Trump, or are they going to still stay home?
See, that's what I was talking about earlier. Two things. People are afraid. And they don't say anything, and they're afraid because of the whole CCP virus that might prevent them from going out. I've actually had conversations with young ladies on my nightly broadcast, and one lady called in crying. I mean, crying because she said she was so afraid to even go to the simple store. She's locked in her home. She has the food delivered to her home, but she's afraid. She's afraid of going to the store. I mean, it's just crazy. And it's because of what the liberal media has done to this country. The liberal media, they are the enemy of the American people. I mean, President Trump, when he called him out on it, he was completely telling the truth. They are the enemy of the American people. So we can't be quiet. We can't be silent. You can't. We can't afford it. And you have to vote. And I think you need to get out and vote, because doing the mail-in ballot is exactly what the Democrats want. If the Democrats want it, then we need to do the opposite.
That is so true. I always say if Democrats are happy with certain things, we should go rid of them, because they always have this evil agenda behind their movement. And yes, I'm going to use the term evil. I know you have somewhat of religious and spiritual beliefs as I do, but I feel like every time I look at these Democrats, especially Nancy Pelosi, I can see the evil in her face, in her breath, in her words. It's like she has reached a point where she can't even hide it. The anger and the hate toward America and American people is all over her.
You know what, Annie? You're absolutely right. And, I've never asked you before, but, I know you came from a Muslim background and stuff like that, but I never asked because to me, you love this country and you want your freedom. And to me, it didn't matter. Even if, if people are Muslim, it does not matter to me. As long as that's what America's about. That's what America's about, that we can have different beliefs and different religions, have different thoughts about whatever. And as long as we're Americans, that's the only thing that matters. But for me, I'm a Christian, and the Holy Spirit gives us insight. So when you see people and they have that demonic spirit about them, you don't need to guess about it. It just automatically lets you know. The Holy Spirit will let you know. And a lot of people don't know the Holy Spirit is telling them, giving them that insight. Because you can see, like you mentioned, Nancy Pelosi, she has a demonic spirit in her. When I sit there and watch the Criminal News Network or MSDNC or the rest of the liberal media out there, and they're lying to the American people, you can see the demonic spirit that has possessed the vessels of these bodies. You can see it. And then the stuff that they're saying, they're not even holding it back any longer. So we're living in a time, and me personally, what I'm seeing, and when I read the Bible, and it is just playing out like, my goodness, my God. It's two things. Either the Bible is 100% correct, or you have some elitists that are multi-trillionaires looking in the Bible trying to figure out, okay, let's do this and make this happen to get people to believe the Bible. Or let's do this and make this happen. We'll do this and make it happen. Or either the Bible is 100% correct. It's one or the other. I mean, it's crazy.
Yes, and I know I'm supposed to be the one reading your questions, but to answer your question, I know you've never asked. I am also a Christian, and I agree with you. It is all right to have whatever faith or religion you want to have in America, but when it comes to Muslims, the issue is their end. Their religion, if you call it, I call it ideology, doesn't allow them to be okay with the rest of us. So that's where
That's true.
like this starts. We
Yeah.
have no problem with them being Muslims. We have problem with them being Muslims and based on that having to kill us.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Sharia, I've watched many of your videos where you talked about the Sharia and how they're trying to implement it onto us. Look no further than Minneapolis. I mean, my goodness, they already have a Muslim patrol replacing the police officers in Minneapolis after George Floyd, and people are accepting it. It's like, yes, bring Sharia, bring Sharia. Well, it's just about to be more tyranny. But anyways.
Yes, correct. Okay. The next one, well, she said it's not so much as a question, but rather she would like to have your opinion on this. She was watching a panel today about a belief that police brutality is pervasive. What's your belief on that? What's your opinion on police brutality being pervasive?
Well, police brutality, right now they try to say that it was like, what they say, 7% of the black people in the country, or no, did they say 7%? I think it was 7%. Or the black is attacked by police officers. And it's all geared towards police officers attacking black people. And that's what they're saying, but it's not true. Because majority of the people that are attacked in this country by police officers, if you want to say they're attacked, well, they're not attacked, but you have some bad apples that are in the police department. And when we see the police brutality, majority of the police brutality that's happening to people in America is happening to white people. It is, but because they can go off the emotions of black people and have people come up with rage against the police department, the whole defunding of the police department, they use black people as a crutch, as a means to get people's feelings worked up to get them to go out and act violent.
Next question, I will read it, Will. However, there are some really big names in there. I'm going to trip over them. You just go with me. So I'm getting more worried about political assassination over the next year. In 1920s Germany, there were 400 political murders. It's scary to talk about, but we have seen shootings of Gabby Giffords, Steve Scalise, and mysterious death of Jeffrey Epstein and Philip Haney. Are you as worried as me that more like those are coming?
That's a good point. Those shootings, I mean, so there was two shootings. One was at a baseball field, and the other lady, I think she was at a campaign, and she got shot there. And the other one was at a baseball field. And Jeffrey Epstein, everyone knows that Christmas lights don't hang themselves. I'm just gonna say it like that. And if the Democrats, let me put it like this: if the Democrats are successful and still in the Senate and still in the House again, because I still believe they stole it in 2018, and they are able to steal the presidency, they're going to round up Christians in this nation, and they're going to fill the FEMA camps. And then if you do not comply, just like what the Bible says, you're going to see they're going to bring back the guillotine, because you're going to be an enemy of the state. If you don't comply with getting the vaccine, you're going to become an enemy of the state. Now, I say this multiple times. I'm sitting there saying these things, and I pray that I'm wrong. How many people do you hear say that? I want to be wrong, because I mean, who will want that? I'm going to be selfish real quick, Handy, if I can. I'm going to be real selfish right now. What I want is for America to prosper. I want you to be highly, extremely successful. I want everyone that's watching this right now to be extremely successful. Why? Because if you're successful and everybody in America is successful, I'm included. I'm included. We all will be successful. I'm being extremely selfish. So that's what I want. And you know what? That's the same thing President Trump sees. That's why he wants America to be successful. I mean, because if everyone is successful, then we're all successful. But if we don't vote Democrats out come November, it's not going to matter. There's going to be a lot of killing, and it's not going to be because of police brutality. It's going to be because of the tyranny, communism. Just look up communism. This is not the party of Kennedy. Not that I agree with the party of Kennedy, but it's not. They are full-on communists now.
Agreed. And as far as what you said, I understand your desire to be wrong, but there are times in life when we prefer to be completely wrong about our guess, understanding, analysis, or seeing into the future. But as you said, Will, this is one of those situations that I prefer to be enlightened by your information than deny it and be stupid about it. And then when it hits me, I have no backup plan. I think you're right. And yes, it breaks my heart as well, but I think you're very much right. And I think people need to stop being afraid of seeing the truth.
Yeah.
Because the sooner you see the truth, I'm going to use my background again. The moment I came to realize what they're raising me to be is nothing but misery and a slavery, the sooner I was able to escape from it and build a better life for myself. If I would have waited until I was 36 like today, maybe it would have been too late. Maybe the brainwash already worked, or maybe I was broken beyond repair. So I learned early on in life that the sooner you see the truth, no matter how painful, the sooner you can get yourself out of it. And that's where we are. You're correct. We're not heading that way anymore. We are already there. And it's already late. People need to wake up yesterday.
You're absolutely right. I agree with you. And see, I believe that I'm right too, but I don't want to be right. I mean, I don't. I mean, seriously, I don't. I want to have grandkids one day, and I want to sugar them up and send them home. You know, I want to have that. I mean, I would like to have that one day. But my goodness, the direction the country's headed, and personally, we have one of the greatest presidents this country has ever seen. And all this crazy stuff is happening under President Trump. You know, you would think that we have, and see, that's a lot. That's another thing I'd like to touch real quick. A lot of people believe just because we have President Trump in office that, oh, everything's okay. We have him in office. I don't need to do anything else now. That is the wrong type of thinking. President Trump can't do everything. We have to do our part in all of this. And then a lot of people say, well, I'll just pray. And prayer is extremely powerful. But if I need a job, or if I need a vehicle, or if I need some medication, and I sit on the couch and I just say I'm going to pray, is the medicine, the car, the job just going to show up? I mean, no, it doesn't. We have to do our part. We do have a part in this game. We do have a part. It's just some of us refuse to get off the couch and do it. And we can't do that any longer. We can't afford it.
No, we can't. We need to be we need to be active. And you're right. Yes, I believe in power prayers strongly, but I do also say prayers require actions. You can. There's this joke that we always say. There was a guy who said, "God, why am I not winning the lottery every night for 30 years?" finally God spoke back and said, why don't you buy one and I'll make sure you win it? Just, we're at that point. We got to buy the lottery and then we can ask God to be the winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question, it says, I see Antifa and BLM communists using black street mobs in burning, looting, mayhem as shock troops. But if the communists take over, they won't want to allow those people to be out on the streets as a threat to their own power. Are you as concerned as me about where that will lead? Communists slaughtering blacks?
So this was going to take place. How they're attacking conservative Christians right now, and how they're out there rioting in the street. See, right now they're attacking us, but they're next. See, that's what they don't realize. While we're at each other like this, they're next. And it's like just like communism. The same thing happened. Once they get rid of the guns and get rid of the people that will fight back against them, and then we get all y'all to help, and then you're next. Then they turn on them because they don't have no one else to turn on to. And we're seeing that. BLM and Antifa and all of them, once they destroy everything, then they're not going to want them to destroy everything after that, because they're going to try to go out there and create their whole utopia. It makes me think about, what's that movie? Hunger Games. You see that? Hunger Game. So the liberals, they have all of the beautiful colors, and everyone is flamboyant, and everyone has all the food, the luxury, the credits, all of that. And the rest of us that are conservative Christians, patriots, people who love America, everything's just gray, dirty. We have to fight for food. We might get food. That's exactly how they want it. They love Hunger Games. That's how they want America to look. And once it's all said and done, Antifa, BLM, when they're done with them, they're done with them. Because right now, Antifa and BLM, they are the foot soldiers for the Democrat Party.
Yeah, that's very true. I love the example though. Yes, Hunger Game makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Let's actually use the next question to connect to this. As we were talking about demonic powers of Democrats, the question says, I feel that demons have become loose in America. Do you have more feelings about that, and how can we banish them back to the darkness?
First of all, God has allowed Satan to have dominion over this planet. Because if he didn't, we wouldn't be seeing everything that we're seeing. We have to wait until Christ returns before that great tribulation battle takes place. That's the only time these demons will be set and put in their place. Because right now, I guarantee, Nanny, all the people that's watching right now, they see the demonic spirits. They understand the spiritual war that we're in. They see it. And they didn't need me to tell it to them. They don't need us to tell it to them. We all see the spiritual war that we're in. And they're increasing their demonic ways because they know that their time is short. And me personally, based on what I've read in the Bible, we are living in the end times. Just think about it. Israel looks like they're getting ready to come up with a peace agreement. They look like they're getting ready to lock this peace agreement. I mean, it's like so close. President Trump, no other president before President Trump has been so close. And even Benjamin Netanyahu said that no matter what, even with the pandemic, that they're still going to go through with this peace agreement. And the way they're going to get the Palestinians to go along with it, they got all of the other Arab nations around Palestine to agree. They're going to put pressure on Palestine. That's how it's going to happen. And I see it coming. We are living. So once you see that take place, you're going to see more demonic stuff that's coming out. You're going to see people just do this. If you want to see how close we are, just go onto social media, maybe like YouTube or something, and type in Jesus seen on the street. You will see multiple videos with people calling themselves Jesus here now. And the Bible talks about that. And it's increasing. and they're doing demonic stuff, and they're convincing people that they are Jesus. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. We're living in the time. And if I may, Annie, real quick, if you want to, and just to kind of allude to more of the end time stuff that's going on, look at all the locusts right now, which is foretold. They ravished Africa, still tearing up Africa, went into India, went into Australia. Millions upon millions of crops destroyed. Look at the earthquakes that we're not talking about. Go look them up. We're having earthquakes in diverse places. We have famine and pestilence all on the planet. Right now, all of these things I'm talking about happening at the same time. We have wars and rumors of war happening right now. All of this is happening, and according to the history, none of this has happened like this, where we have all of these things happen at the same time.
Agreed. And if you don't mind me adding my own personal belief, one of the ways I always push demon back into darkness is self-respect and self-love. One of the things this BLM and Antifa has created in our country is so much hesitation to wake up and be a proud American. Remember that feeling and stick to it. It doesn't matter what's happening on the streets. We are still the greatest nation of all time. We might be a little shaky right now, but I personally still am a proud American. I wake up every morning and I look at the flag in my bedroom and I kiss it. And I thank God for still having the best piece of document ever written as my Constitution. That's how I do it. Well,
I hear you. And BLM, right before President Trump won the election, I figured out what BLM was all about. I never ever supported BLM because BLM came when Obama said that if I had a son, he would look like Trayvon, and then boom, right after that, BLM was born. Right? BLM stands for because Lucifer manipulates. Because Lucifer manipulates. It has nothing to do with Black lives. And we're seeing the spiritual battle, and the evilness is just increasing. And it's going to increase. Let me put it like this. You see how bad it is, Portland and all that right now? We're talking about it. And a lot of people are like, well, it's not happening in my neighborhood or my city. A lot of people are like, oh, okay, that's just them acting crazy there. Give it some time. Give it some time. President Trump win? Yeah, holler back at me.
Oh yeah.
If you can.
That's the next pandemic. I always say, a lot of people put this post on Facebook of, so what are your plans after pandemic being November 4th? And I actually always think about, I'm like, no. When President Trump is reelected, the new pandemic will be BLM.
Yeah.
They will attack every city, every zip code, every street, every house. Because their revolution is their last solution.
Yeah. You already see that they're already talking about going into the residential area because attacking federal buildings and attacking stores is not enough. When they start going into residential areas and start burning down homes, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late for you to speak up, especially if your house is burning. If you're not saying anything now, you're just digging their own grave. And you know what? I'd rather go down fighting. And to be honest with you, Annie, I'm so sick and tired of what the Democrats have done to this country. And me, I hold back my anger now because, I'm like, I get so angry and I start yelling about these Democrats. But there's some people out there that's not going to hold back any longer. They're going to go out and start handling BLM and Antifa when they're doing these violent acts. And it's going to become all out civil war. And truly, I believe that we're in the Civil War 2.0.
Unfortunately, I'll agree with you. Let me ask you the very last question, Will Johnson. Where do our audience go to follow you, to support you, and get all the information you're putting out literally daily?
If you go to uniteamericafirst.com, you can find all my information there. And you can go down to the bottom of my page on uniteamericafirst.com and sign up for that newsletter. And it's unite, because we have to unite this country. as a people that believe in America, believe in freedoms, and we believe in helping others, because we do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we have such a major issue in this country. We have to unite this country first. So it's uniteamericafirst.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Will. You know, I always enjoy a discussion with you, either on air, off air, doesn't matter. So thank you so much for giving us your wisdom, your information, and your time.
Well, thank you, Annie, and I love talking to you, and thank you for this great opportunity.
Absolutely. And to our audience who stayed with us, thank you so very much. Remember, these webinars are being brought to you by the Glazov Gang and David Holtz Freedom Center for free. So if you want us to continue doing them, please consider going to frontpagemag.com and make 100% tax deductible donation. Until the next time, you all stay safe and goodbye.